Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the case of Queena Phu. This case happened in Bloomingdale, Florida in 2008. So Queena Phu was born on 2nd of April 1990. Her mother was a Vietnamese native that had fled Vietnam during the war, the Vietnam War. So she came into California and she started living there and raised her children there. And Queena Phu was the second of two daughters. Her mom had two daughters, and they grew up. They grew up in Florida. So growing up, Queena was known to be very studious. She was known to be dorky. She was very sociable. She relates with people very well. People liked her so much. She's a very sociable person and a very intelligent lady. She was in the honor roll of her class. She was like the top of her class in school, so she was doing really well for herself. She's known to be very studious. So on April 24th of 2008, she went to Bloomingdale Library to return a book that she had borrowed earlier. So she had left work and she drove to Bloomingdale Library to return the book. And when she got there, she saw a weird looking guy sitting on the benches there, on one of the benches there. So she looking at the guy, stranger danger, she was like spooked with the way the guy was, and she was alone in the parking lot with that guy. So she refused. She was on call with her friend Rachel. She was telling her friend that there is a weird guy on one of the benches there, that she should be on phone. She should be continue being on call. She should not cut the call, so that she'll be able to like drop her book and come back to her car. So while talking to Rachel had her scream as she got down from her car. She screamed loud. She let out a very loud scream. Then the phone cut. So she was trying to like call her back, and she couldn't get her anymore. She was trying dialing the number. She could not reach her anymore. So she called her friend Priscilla that stays close to the library. So she called her friend and told her that she should check on Queena, that Queena is at the library parking lot, and that she had heard her scream, and she rushed there to check what is happening with her. So Priscilla left everything that she was doing. She drove to the library, and when she got there, she didn't see Queena. She actually saw Queena's phone like under Queena's car. She saw that Queena's car was still running. She didn't like off the ignition. She did not off anything. The car was still running, and her things were littered on the floor. Then she saw blood, as in blood was on the floor. So she traced the blood, and she was checking all of this. She called Rachel and was telling her what was happening. Rachel had to like call all of Queena's relatives, and everybody was like coming to that library. So when they got there, they all started searching for Queena, and they found her at the back of the library. She was on top of an ant hill. Ants were crawling on her body, and she was naked from the waist down. So, and when they saw her, if blood, she was full. Her body was full of blood. So the family, they called the police, and when the police got there, they investigating. They found fingerprints on the walls. Then they found the handprints on the wall. Then they saw like an utensil like that looks like a knife on the floor. So they took it and got the fingerprints from that utensil. I don't know, it looks like a knife. So they took it in as an evidence, and they started investigating. They took Queena. The ambulance came and took Queena to the hospital and started treating her. They later found out that she was raped. She was beaten. So her skull was bashed in. Her blood was everywhere. She was beaten so much. She was beaten to death. I think the person that did this felt that he had killed her. So she was beaten so much. She lost a lot of blood. At a time, the doctors also told the relatives that while beating her, were strangling her, that blood was cut off from her brain, so oxygen could not get there, and the nerves for the eye and everything, she could not see anymore, she could not talk. When she woke up, she could not see, she could not talk, she was in so much pain. Oh god, she was battered by this attacker. So the police were also actively investigating this crime. They found one of they like posted it that this happened at library, Bloomingdale's library, that around this time, it was around 10:15 that this attack happened. So that if you know any information about anybody that you saw at the park around that time, that they should report to the police. So one of the guys said he had been at that park around 9:45. So and he had been at that park around that time to return books. He was there with his dad, so he went there to return book, and he has seen Kendrick Morris, a 16-year-old. He was his schoolmate at Bloomingdale's High School, so that he saw him at the parking lot around that time. He was sitting on the bench, the same bench that Queena had told Rachel that some weird guy was sitting there. So that this guy was also sitting on bench around that time. So Kendrick Morris, the police went to Kendrick Morris's house and interviewed him, and he was denying, and the mom too. The mom, because they don't have any tangible evidence. The mom said they should not take, they should not take him, because they wanted to take him and question him, but the mom said they should not question, they did not take him. So they couldn't. So they left, and they continued investigating, and they were able to place Kendrick Morris' fingerprint on that weapon, that utensil that they saw at the scene of the crime. So they found out that his blood and his fingerprint DNA matched to the utensil that they found her, and they were able to arrest Kendrick Morris. Testing his DNA also showed that he was also involved in a crime that happened 10 months earlier in that same area. So this was at a daycare center. A lady, a 62-year-old woman, came in for her usual work. So she got into the daycare center. She was the only one there. She was arranging the things, making sure that things are ready for the kids coming in for the day. So as she was doing those things, a masked man wearing a ski mask with hand gloves came into the daycare center and pushed into the daycare center, and also beat her up and raped her, collected her some of her money, and left. So CCTV camera was able to capture him, but because he was wearing a ski mask, they were unable to identify him, because he was wearing a ski mask. And that was how Kendrick Morris was able to like get off from that crime. For 10 months he was walking free until he committed the second crime with Queena Phu. So when they were able to link him to these two crimes, these very two horrible crimes, they arrested him. Then his trial started in 2010 August. So he was first tried for the crime that he committed in 2007, for the 62-year-old woman, and there he pled not guilty, that he was not the one that committed that crime. And one came on and testified that they testified that he was the one that did it. And the second trial was for Queena Phu. All her friends came on and testified how it happened. Rachel said that she called her, and she told her that there was a weighed man sitting on the bench. They described everything, they showed everything, and then Kendrick Morris was sentenced to 65 years imprisonment. Then in 2000, he was resentenced to life imprisonment. So Supreme Court later reviewed the sentencing for juveniles, and his own sentencing that was 65 years was overturned to 40 years in prison. So he's still in prison till now, and he'll be in prison for a long time. So this is the case of Queena Phu. For now, she cannot see very well. She cannot see very well. She doesn't talk anymore. She cannot walk. In fact, the whole thing spoils her life, and she had already gained admission to study fashion in University of Florida, full scholarship. But this guy, because of 5 minutes to him enjoyment or something, he destroyed this girl's life. I don't know what a 16-year-old wants to do. Or how, I don't know how a 16-year-old will have this type of mind to do this type of thing. I don't know how he was able to like do something like this. The queen, he destroyed this lady's life, this girl's life. She has been in that state for, she cannot talk well, she cannot talk well, she cannot talk at all, she cannot see, she cannot walk. Been in therapy since that 2008 till now. That's like 17 years. Every year the Medicaid only covers $1,500 of the money that is needed for her therapy, physical therapy every year. And her mom said that they pay close to 70,000 or more, $70,000 or more each year for her treatment. And she's improving little by little, but her mom had to quit her job to be able to like take care of her fully. She cannot do anything on her own anymore. She has to, in fact, she will have to rely on someone for the rest of her life. Or life altering injuries. That was what this guy gave to this lady, and that's it. That's how he destroyed this lady's life, and now he's living out his own life in prison. The family said that they had forgiven him, but he needs to serve out his sentence. That does not mean that he should be released. This kind of person should not even be released. Should not be released at all. Should not have to come out of prison to, we don't know what he will do. For someone to do these things, the first crime he committed, he was 15. The second one he committed, he was 16 when he did this. Who knows what he would do when he's 40. So this is how Kendrick Morris and destroyed the life of Queena Phu forever. She has been in that state for 17 years now. This is a lesson to us that all this type of that violence can destroy people's life. We have to develop self-control. It's not everything that comes to mind that you have to do. And a library is supposed to be a place that you would go and read your book, return a book, borrow a book. But this experience now destroyed this lady's life. She will never be able to go to a library to read. She may visit a library with her family and stay there. She will not be able to read. She will not be able to write. She will not be able to do anything. For someone that was so intelligent, for someone that was able to get a full scholarship in the University of Florida, someone else had to destroy her life like this because of what? Because of what? Because of what? So he couldn't get he couldn't get a girlfriend at his age that he can go out with. This Queen Afu was 18 years. This was like days, few days after her birthday, and she was supposed to go for her prom a few weeks later, and this thing happened. She was preparing for her prom. She had already bought clothes that she would use for her prom. Everything just went like that. But in 2017, a senior in Bloomingdale High School was able to like fulfill this lifelong dream of Queen's, of going to prom. The boy asked her out for prom, and she said yes. She was so happy. She smiled so much, and she went to prom 2017, almost 9 years after what happened. She was able to like get that. She was able to go for her prom. This is really bad. We as a society, we need to do better. People that are like this, people that do this type of evil, I don't know what makes them do them. I don't know, but it's really, really heartbreaking. It's very, very hard. This is the most heartbreaking story that, even though that I have ever like that I have ever researched or even listened to, and I had to tell. This is a very heartbreaking story. She survived, boy. God. She says so. Queen is a very strong lady. She's a survivor. She has been able to survive this type of thing, and she's still surviving till today. And she wants to be known as a survivor, not as a victim. And we honor that. Thank you very much for watching. Please please subscribe. And with I try to subscribe. I'm on 30 subscribers now. Like begged last week, and I was able to like gain one subscriber this week. Please try to subscribe so that this will reach more people, so that you to be able to push it, and comment, like, share. Thank you very much for watching and engaging. With that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and stay safe, stay curious. Thank you. Bye.